This is Pop Culture Yearbook. On this show, we pick pieces of pop culture that were important to us in a given year. We then discuss memories and dig into those movies, albums, shows, and more. I'm Brad.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Geoff.
So we were talking before we got on here about our research paper that we did in senior year of 1994 and how Pete felt he got ripped off by Mr. Hummel, all of our favorite teacher, for using the word myriad wrong. But I want to quiz you, Pete. What does our intro have a wonderful example of in it? As far as a literary device. We pick pieces of pop culture that were...
Oh, that would be alliteration, Brad.
We got some alliteration in our opener. Yep, that's right. Okay, you got those points back 31 years later.
Yes.
Awesome. Good job.
Well done.
So
all right. We're going to be closing the yearbook tonight, but we're going to be doing a great topic with that. But before we do...
Speeding towards the finish line tonight is what we're going to be doing.
That's right. As we... Cannonball coming. As we are recording this, our first of the two 80s country episodes came out, and we're getting some really nice feedback. So we just want to give some shout outs to people and show how much we love when they interact with us, because it's a big deal. So last night I was with my family, and my sister said how much she enjoyed it and how much she liked the snippets of the songs. And one of the songs that really stood out to her was a 7-Year Ache by Roseanne Cash, which, totally agree with, because I knew the song, but it was a couple years ago I kind of rediscovered it. It's like, this song is so great. And the Juice Newton songs too, she said, were especially fun to hear. And then I kind of recommended that my parents listen to this one, because really this was kind of this was pretty much a thank you to them, this whole episode pretty much. But my mom did say she listened and really enjoyed it and had some good memories and some good laughs, guys. So, and she's looking forward to Thursday.
Well, Thursday's going to be that one's going to be a great one. Of course, you guys listened to it
2 weeks ago now, but whatever.
Be lit. Yeah, I'm way off on my pop culture yearbook timing podcast time zone.
And then as tonight, our friend Deaf Dave, who did the wonderful Dukes of Hazzard episode with us, he even used our lingo that he had an hour ride home and he was about to open the yearbook. Talked about his love of the Oak Ridge Boys and sent a video of a great Oak Ridge Boys song. This guy, he knows his stuff big time. And he also confirmed what we already heard earlier from Jim and Lindsay, that, peanuts in your Coke is a Southern tradition.
That's correct. Yep.
Peanuts, by the way. You said that kind of quickly. I just want to make sure. Yes.
So that's a few there. Online, we've had a couple. One of my favorite follows on Twitter. You got to follow the Yacht Rock playlist consultant. That guy is just great, and he was listening and talking about it today. And our smooth section of the playlist where you had Charlie Pride and Ronnie Millsap and Eddie Rabbitt. He confirmed Eddie Rabbitt and Ronnie Millsap, they're in the boat. They have some confirmed Yacht Rock songs. So that was fun to hear. And along with my sister Jason, our friend from home.
Yep, back home.
He was also talking about how the playlist was just perfect, and how I appreciated that comment, because I put a lot of thought into that playlist, and it brought him back to the same memories I had of driving in the tractor or the truck with your parents. So that was fun. I was hoping this episode would have a little reach, because it's so important to me. And so I really appreciated all those comments. I might have missed one or two too. I'm not sure, but that was the one that stood out. Gifford, did you notice any other ones that I missed?
No, those you covered all the ones that I was going to touch on. Okay. So thank you to everyone for reaching out. It's always fun to read the comments and get the texts and things of that nature, and know that we're touching a chord with people.
Yeah, and hopefully there'll be more throughout the week as we go on. So
keep them coming.
Anyway, that's fun. That makes it's a lot of time that I put into the stupid social media stuff, and so when you get people to actually interact, it makes it a lot more fun and meaningful to actually do it. Otherwise, it's like, what am I doing here?
This is this is a waste of time.
Yeah. So thank you. It's not a waste of time, because if one person reaches out, that's all I need.
Yeah,
that's right. Remind me. I'm not going to say it yet, but remind me later during the draft portion of our episode tonight. I have a challenge for our listeners. I just thought of that, so just remind me.
Pete with a challenge.
Try to do that.
That's a little cliffhanger there to keep you listening as to what that might be.
Well, tonight we are going to expand our reach from sea to shining sea as we cover a wonderful movie that came out June the 19th of 81. That is the Cannonball Run.
Yeah, baby.
This movie had a budget of about $18 million, brought home $160 million at the box office, finished the year in sixth place for 1981. I think one spot behind our subject from last week in Stripes.
Wow, yeah.
So excellent movie. It was one of those that didn't get a lot of critical acclaim, and that was one of the things that Burt Reynolds kind of talked about, because at the time he was paid $5 million for this movie, and it was the most ever paid to an actor. And he kind of said he sold out, and it's a cast of superstars and well-known people, and it's just a fun kind of buddy movie. So
well, and it's funny that because one of the things I had read is that he kind of considered it a big mistake because he didn't need to do another car movie, but like he took the money, I guess. But after this movie, it was so popular, they had already greenlit the second one before this even hit the theaters, and he's in that one too. And then he did Stroker Ace after that. So if it was a problem, I mean, he did not quit doing those car racing movies, and unfortunately, I mean, that's kind of the end of his career there until Boogie Nights resuscitated it.
Was that before or after Striptease? Because he was excellent in Striptease.
Well, that was very close to the same time. That was before Boogie Nights by a year, I think.
Okay.
So that was mid '90s. He made his comeback. Yep. But it's just funny because I can't remember some of the movies that we talked about that he turned down. Like he was up for some big roles, but he kept doing these car movies. And do you guys remember the show Win, Lose or Draw?
Oh yeah. And well, the guy was
Bert Convy, who hosted it. He's in the movie.
The motorcycle guy. Yep.
But I always remember watching that throughout the 80s, and the opening would always say, because Burt was on it most of the time, Burt Reynolds, Hollywood's #1 box office draw 5 years running. And it's funny because this is like late 80s, and he was not anymore, but they were referring back to like 77 to 83 there.
Yep.
But he just died out after that. Like it was too many car racing movies, I guess. But
yeah.
But we did find out later that he could expand and do more.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as memories go, I didn't go to this in the movie theater, but this was one of those movies that I saw on ABC or CBS, maybe a late night movie. And just, it's perfect for a kid who's, say
not
under 10. Well, yeah, like 10 years old would be good. Because it's cars, it's, funny stuff.
Dukes of Hazzard vibes kind of to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was always fun. And I remember one of the funnest things of this movie is the the end credits. And I remember the realization coming over me of why there were beeps. And I thought that when I suddenly realized they're beeping out profanity, then it was like the funniest thing I'd ever seen. But as a young kid, like you're wondering why that's in there. And then, you start putting it together. And then of course it's even funnier yet. But do you guys remember the first time you happened to see this movie?
I can't say I remember the first time I've seen it. And I've only seen it probably once or twice as a kid. I know that I've seen it, and then I hadn't really gone back to it until now. I remember the concept of it, and I remember it being an all-star cast and everything, but this was basically like watching a brand new movie this time around. My comments on it were that this is not intended to be a critically acclaimed movie. It's not like great acting or anything. And if you wanted to be critical about it, yeah, there's a lot to pick apart big time. And we will tonight, I'm sure. But it's fun. You have fun while you're watching it. And so what's the most important thing? You are entertained throughout the entire movie. And so, yeah, that's kind of my comments on it.
I don't remember the first time I watched it, but I do know that, and I don't even know if it was this one or Cannonball Run 2, but I saw these movies so many times as a kid. They were on HBO all the time. This is the last week.
Oh, Mister, I had HBO.
2 weeks ago, we talked about my first, favorite band was the Oak Ridge Boys. Like as a 5-year-old, and I heard Elvira, like that was my band. This was my first favorite movie, either Cannonball Run or Cannonball Run 2. I loved them both. And I just saw them over and over again. So I was so excited when Gifford picked it, because I was going to pick this all along from the day we started this podcast. I thought this would be my pick for this year, but then I pivoted to the country thing, which was just as good. But the goofiness you brought up, and then the end credits, like I couldn't get enough. I just thought that was so great. And so this was a hard to find movie now. It was not, it had so many commercials we had to sit through. I'm sure you did too. I haven't seen it since the 80s. There's no way I've seen it since then. So even though I watched it probably 20 times as a kid, I really wondered, like, is this going to hold up at all? Or is this going to be like the stupidest thing I'd ever seen? But about a year ago, we went and saw Smokey and the Bandit. It was in the movie theater. And that's another one I hadn't seen, since I was a kid. And I really liked that. It was a lot of fun going to that. And so I was hoping that this would, be good too. And it's kind of a apt comparison, I think, type of movie, and Burt Reynolds, of course. So I was excited to watch it again. But it's been a long, long time.
Well, and I like that, as you say, you saw it a ton when you were a kid and then probably haven't watched it since. Probably better off that you didn't. I mean, this is geared to either a really, really hammered or high adult or children. The acting is...
Well, I was neither hammered nor high when I watched it, but...
Right, but I remember I went back and just watched Smokey and the Bandit for the hell of it. I don't know, maybe a month ago.
Well, I also watched Cannonball Run 2 the other day, by the way, too. I watched them both.
And I was trying to find Cannonball Run, because I'm like, well, shit, why don't I watch that too? Kind of the same deal, fast car, pretty girl, and, it's just funny shenanigans going on. And I couldn't find it. And so I was really happy when Brad found a link on YouTube where you watch it in basically 11 9-minute
segments,
sections.
about 10-minute segments.
With a lot of commercials interrupting, and it's not high def, by the way. It's not good.
No, but at least we were able to watch it. I really enjoyed that. And then I, continued on YouTube watching different things associated with it. One of the clips I did find was the end credits for the first movie and the second movie back to back. And to me, they weren't edited. They didn't have the beeps in it. And that, to me, wasn't as funny, actually, hearing them swear. Right. It was the beeps as a kid that I remember just absolutely killing me. And like you'll see stuff online where it's like unnecessarily censored clips where they take a perfectly PG clip and throw in, beeps, and it just makes it funnier. I mean, the beeps are funny. That's just all there is to it. So I wish I would have found a clip of the censored end credit scenes from both movies. I just wanted to talk a little bit here. We'll get into some fun facts and the cast a little bit. So this movie is directed by Hal Needham. This guy is a certified badass. Can we just say that? He started out as a stuntman, went to stunt coordinator, and then moved into the directing world. He, as Brad said, he directed Smokey and the Bandit 1 and 2, and Stroker Ace. Yep. And his last one, I've never seen it, but I've heard great things. Rad, about like BMX biking.
Oh, he did. Huh?
So he raced in this race, because this movie is based on.
Yeah, he actually did it, right?
The 1979 running of the Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash. So that was the last race in 1979. He was in it, and he was in a ambulance. He did the race in that ambulance. That's the actual ambulance.
Yeah, the one that's in the movie was really used.
Yep, he held on to it, and he didn't finish the race. I think the transmission blew out like 10 or 15 miles from the end. So this guy is just an absolute legend. His relationship with Burt Reynolds is well documented. He lived in Reynolds' guest house for 12 years. Quentin Tarantino has said that his relationship with Burt Reynolds is the basis for the relationship of Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton, the characters in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, I think I've heard that. That's a good one.
So, I mean, this guy is certified awesome. He was involved in trying to break the land speed record with like a rocket car. Like he's just in cool shit. He's just an awesome dude. You guys got anything as far as fun facts on this?
Well, speaking of the Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Dash, the reason, so they ran it 5 times in the 70s, and of course it was illegal. It's not it's not like it was some sanctioned race. But they were celebrating the new interstate system, which is still relatively new at that time, which is crazy for us to like think about, like how different that would have been. But also protesting strict traffic laws. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, they must be protesting that you can't drink and drive either, because there's a lot of drinking and driving in this movie.
A little bit, yeah.
The record time is 32 hours and 51 minutes, and they had to average 83 miles per hour for the entire 3,000 miles. You left somewhere in Connecticut, and you ended at the Portofino Inn somewhere in LA on the other coast.
So 2,856 miles is how long the race is.
To average 83 miles per hour, because you gotta make stops and things too. That's fast. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
You're cooking.
The one thing that stood out,
said it was the worst decision of his career, but it's funny because then he did number 2 as well.
Yep.
One thing I had no idea until I watched it a couple of days ago for this was that Jackie Chan was in it.
Yeah.
And it seems like a really old, I didn't realize that Jackie Chan would have been old enough to be in this movie. Like I would have thought, when I think of Jackie Chan movies, he's like after that, like in the 90s and stuff. But
but he was big, obviously, in China. This was his
second American movie.
Movie that he was in.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that.
So a couple things about Jackie Chan is that he's Chinese.
Yep.
And in the movie, he's Japanese, which he did feel was pretty lazy and disrespectful. But considering it was kind of his debut to big audiences, he just went with it anyway. But he also, this is kind of funny, he loved the blooper reels that they did so much that he adopted those for his movies that he put out after this. And, when I really don't know much about Jackie Chan movies, but when I think of Jackie Chan movies, I'm not thinking of a blooper reel at the end.
Right.
But he loved that part of this and made it part of his thing too. So that's I think pretty cool.
Well, and
I will say a critical point is that it felt like that there was one scene, and you know what I'm talking about, that felt like just shoehorned in, like towards the end, where they just have to give him a karate scene, so everyone just leaves, and he's still dealing with the biker gang, and so now we have to somehow shoehorn in that karate scene, and so that's what he.
You could probably say most of the scenes are shoehorned in, but yes, it's
but that one especially for Jack.
You got a big cast, and everybody's got to try to get their due. But that's one of the things I noticed too is like there's so many people in this movie, and it's like, for example, in the second one, the whole point of the movie is the race is being run again by the Sheik, Jamie Farr.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching this movie, I'm like, you meet the Sheik at first, but like he like disappeared to me. I'm like, where is this guy?
Yeah.
Like,
there's a few that it's like I would have liked to have seen more of them and what their deal was.
Having the big cast is fun, but maybe you either need a little longer movie, which I'm not necessarily a fan of, or maybe you have too many people in it because you're trying to give everybody their moment, like you just brought up, and maybe sometimes it doesn't always work out quite right.
See, and everybody
had to play extremely into their stereotypes. Because everybody had their own little, and there was definitely racial components to this. And it's like with the black priests, that was an example.
Who's also Jewish, which is awesome.
Who's also Jewish, and they threw in. I love the fact though, the whole James Bond, Roger Moore thing.
He was great. That's my favorite part of this movie. I agree.
Well, and where did the women keep coming from? Because he's got a 2-seater. This DB5 is a 2-seater. But every time they cut back to him, he's with another stunning lady.
He's James Bond. Bond. That's part of the appeal.
But where did he drop the one off and pick up the other? That's just
Doesn't
awesome.
matter.
I think you brought up stereotypes and how everybody's kind of playing their role. The one though that I think is different. So Farrah Fawcett doesn't really play a stereotype. She's for the most part kind of this buttoned up, serious. And the funny thing is that I read about this is that she thought this was a drama. And she went into this movie thinking it was a drama and was playing it that way. And it wasn't until they got deep into it, like she finally, realized this is a comedy. So, and in the way she's playing her role, you can kind of tell, like she's taking it a lot more seriously than most people. And that's because she didn't really get the memo the right way when she started out.
It's funny that you say that because
really hit me hard. There's one line, that really hit me hard by Farrah Fawcett when she goes, "Well, I was expecting this was going to be a gangbang." Like she just thought she was going to be raped.
They're racers, not rapists.
Yeah, exactly. And I meant, oh my God.
Well, the funny thing is Brad says she thought it was a drama, but yet she was nominated. She didn't win. She was nominated for a Razzie Award for worst supporting actress.
Well, probably partly too because it just doesn't fit in as well. Like you gotta
fit her. Yeah, okay.
Well, and I read that this was supposed to be a drama. Steve McQueen was slated to play the role of JJ, but then of course he passed.
It could have been,
and they brought on Reynolds, and that's when it was changed to a comedy. So maybe Farrah Fawcett didn't get the memo that it was supposed to be a comedy.
It had to have been after it was decided it was going to be a comedy when they decided on like this is going to be an all-star cast and all that sort of stuff. Must have been very, very early on.
It was pre-production.
Before we go any deeper with these fun facts, Gifford, did you have a little short synopsis you wanted to read?
I forgot to write one, but based on the quality of the acting in this movie, I think I'm just going to throw something together here. So this movie, the Cannonball Run, as we said, it
was all put on the fly, so perfect.
It was set up to be based on a real race. They start the race in Connecticut, and they're going to race across the country, see the shining sea, and end up in L.A., and you've got a myriad colorful characters, Pete, driving quite a few different vehicles of their choice to see who can make it across the country the fastest. So that's pretty much the movie. Yeah, that'll do. So as far as like the movie, obviously box office wise, it was absolutely huge. It only got 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. And if you watch the movie, you can see, if you're going to look at it with a critical eye.
A lot of these movies, though, they get higher as the year. You'd think this would maybe have gone up a little bit over the years, but I guess this one doesn't have the lasting appeal that like a Caddyshack does, which was panned. Right. And now people love it.
Love it.
Yeah. Again, you've got to ask the question, does the movie do what it's intended to do?
Right.
This is not intended to be a serious movie. It's intended, you're intended to have fun. And if the criteria is, did you have fun? It should score very highly, in my opinion.
Well, one person who doesn't like to have fun is Roger Ebert, who gave it a 0.5 star and said it was an abdication of artistic responsibility at the lowest possible level of ambition. In other words, they didn't even care enough to make a good, lousy movie. So Raj wasn't having it.
Well, and it's like you said, it was so much of it was like thrown together and rewritten on the fly. It's very much like Caddyshack. I'm sure the drugs were just rampant with this, and you got all these big stars. They want their little moment and scene, and they probably don't care about anything else. And so, yeah, I had fun, and obviously the audience had fun. It was huge, but as a critic, you can still diss it and say, yeah, it's, sometimes that works and you can overlook it. And in this case, they did not agree.
Right. All right. Well, let's get into the cast. Shall we?
I have more fun
facts. Please give me more fun facts. I love fun facts.
I just wanted to take a break there so we didn't get too deep before people remembered what that deep plot was about there.
Right. Thank you.
You mentioned that Steve McQueen was supposed to play maybe the lead role. Sammy Davis was supposed to be Don Rickles at first. So that took quite a turn when he came in, kind of changed the
Dom DeLuise.
No. Don Rickles was supposed to be the Black Priest.
Oh, sorry.
Sammy Davis part.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
And then, so speaking of the drugs or whatever, the drinking, so Dean and Sammy, notoriously, they were drinking for real. And for most scenes, they were either tipsy or drunk throughout this whole movie. And you can tell Dean Martin, man,
Dean Martin was hammered.
There is that one exchange towards the end when they're in the desert and they're going back and forth, just throwing barbs at each other, and he was clearly drunk.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean,
so
yeah.
You brought up Roger Moore. That was one of my favorite parts of this movie. I just love how he committed to it and everything. But it's interesting because he actually made it so that future Bond actors could not spoof themselves anymore like this, because the Bond creators did not like it. They did not like what he did there. They didn't like the way the character was like treated. And so that was a no-no and was changed for future actors. They couldn't be pulling that kind of thing anymore.
Well, and I couldn't believe they were using like the Bond theme song. Like they didn't really change it up. And like,
everything they did in this movie was illegal.
Yeah,
they driving an Aston Martin or something very similar to it. It was like an Aston something
with the same license plate number that were in the Bond movies. Like, I mean, it is
and the same concept where it flips over. I think that's a James Bond thing. But yeah, I was very surprised too that he was even willing to do that, and like how perfectly he did it. And that opening scene with him and his mother, where he pulls out the gun and he just shoots the flag. That was pretty funny.
Well, and just he refers to himself as Roger Moore.
Yeah,
like, this is the guy who believes he is Roger Moore. He tells all these women that are in his car, like, this is his job. He's a spy. He's a actor. He's assuming the role, the identity of Roger Moore for this, and it's very meta for 1981.
It is.
And there's been other movies that have spoofed James Bond, but this was actually Roger Moore. That's what made it unique and fun.
Current James Bond playing himself.
And he was current.
Yep.
There was a stunt woman named Heidi Von Beltz who was paralyzed in one of the stunts, which led to a lot of lawsuits against this movie. So one of the opening scenes, one of the scenes that's really kind of fun, is this plane comes flying into this town and lands right on the road. None of that was approved. Speaking of illegal, they flew that plane into the town. That was real. And he jumped out and got the beer, and they took back off. And that led to, again, also some major no-nos with the
FAA.
The FAA.
Yeah.
But it makes for a pretty good scene, and when you know that they're not even like allowed to do it, it makes it a little more fun to watch.
Can I make a point on that? If you're going to go through all that trouble, you pick up more than a sixer, right?
Is that all he got?
But he was in a hurry.
He got a 6-pack, and the plane turned around, and then he ran back out. Like, if you're going to go through all that trouble, get a little bit more than 6 cans. He
didn't have a lot of time.
And that's the other thing that's great. As Brad brought up, it's a lot of drinking and driving in this movie. There was also drinking and flying.
Yeah.
I mean, JJ was, having I believe a Budweiser while he was flying the plane.
There was a video game named Outrun that was based on this movie. I saw a little. It looks a lot like Pole Position or Rad Racer that we played.
I remember that game.
Yep. But it was called Outrun, and it came from this movie. There is a cop in the movie who looks a lot like Burt Reynolds, and that is his longtime stunt double.
Yep.
Not only did the ambulance get reused from the real thing, but Hal Needham gave his actual red Ferrari to the movie to use with just one rule: don't wreck it.
Is that what Dino and Sammy were driving?
But Dean is driving it, drinking. So not only is it being used and they're not supposed to wreck it, but you've got Dean Martin in there, open bottle, like just slurring his speech, and he's the one driving this thing.
Right.
So as I said, Cannonball Run 2 was greenlit before this even came out. They were so sure it was going to be a hit. Cannonball Run 2 was not a big hit. It did even worse, like with critics, and audiences didn't want to see anymore. But there is actually a 3. So there was a 1989 movie called Speed Zone, which was Cannonball Run 3, and the only person who returned from these movies was Jamie Farr. But apparently John Candy, Eugene Levy, and Brooke Shields were in this movie too.
Wow.
But it was a complete bomb. And obviously, I don't know that hardly anybody's ever heard of Speed Zone, also known as Cannonball Run 3.
Sure.
So,
the one thing
I don't think you mentioned Dean Martin's last film was the sequel, Cannonball Run 2. Right.
And in the second one, they also added, they really made the Rat Pack much more whole because Frank Sinatra gets in the second one too.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say that's better about the second movie, and this is just, my
Daisy
personal
Duke?
preference. Yes, Daisy Duke,
Catherine Bach.
and Susan Anton were
Susan
the
Anton, yeah, she's good.
hot ladies in the fast car. Not that the ladies in this one weren't very fetching, but I'll take Cannonball
No,
Run
and,
too.
and the one is Adrienne Barbeau, who people
Mhm.
talk a lot about her back then, but she just doesn't do it for me. Like,
No,
not like Catherine Bach does.
not like Catherine
so.
Bach. No.
I mean, she's
Completely
obviously pretty good looking and has the features that a woman like that is supposed to have in the movie, but
Correct.
I'll take Catherine Bach
Yes.
and Susan Anton.
Yes. Thank you. I will do that as well. What else? You got any other fun facts?
No, that pretty much covers it. I just thought
Okay.
since the movie wasn't maybe as great as I remembered, it was nice to have a lot of background about it to kick things off.
Well,
here.
and there will be a lot of because there's, like you say, there's all these people coming in to play this in this movie.
So we've mentioned a lot of the cast. Let's
Yeah.
let's hear who else is in this movie.
So of course we got Burt Reynolds as the J.J. McClure, and his sidekick played by Dom DeLuise is Victor.
Captain
We mentioned
Chaos,
and he does play Captain Chaos, which to me, again, this is one of the hallmarks of why this movie is so off the wall. Like all of a sudden, the
Ridiculous.
alter ego of Victor shows up as Captain Chaos and can do no wrong and can fight and can drive and is confident and amazing. The exact opposite of.
Well, and at the beginning, how it's like a little mysterious when he just talks about him and you don't know, and then like Burt Reynolds lifts his head up and like hits his head on the hood.
Right.
It's a little bit overdone, but
and all I can think of when I see Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise is Phil Hartman and Chris Farley playing them on SNL with Dana Carvey as Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show, because whenever they were on The Tonight Show, it's just a party. And they're sitting there and all they're doing is laughing and they're pissing their pants and they're throwing pies at each other's groins and all they're doing is laughing. And it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And I just love that because it's an SNL from like whatever 1990 or 91, but they're looking back on because it's when Johnny Carson was going off the air, and so they're looking back at old clips.
Sure.
And so it's a clip of these guys from the early 80s just drunk off their asses on TV.
We've got Farrah Fawcett plays Pamela, but she is referred to throughout the movie as Beauty. That's what JJ decides to call her when he can't figure out her name in like 3 or 4 guesses. We've got Dean Martin playing Jamie Blake and Sammy Davis Jr. as Fenderbaum. These two are together driving a Ferrari across the United States. I believe Dean Martin's character is a former race car driver and current drunk.
Well, is he? I didn't even catch that. Like, I don't even know what their deal is.
And to me, the scenes with these two are the best. Like, I absolutely love everything that they're in. Dean Martin can do no wrong.
You know my love
same
for Dean
Sammy.
Martin. So
yeah, and same with Sammy. I mean, Sammy is just so funny. Always getting himself into some crap. And of course, he plays a degenerate gambler. We got Jimmy the Greek early on in the film.
Jimmy the Greek shows up.
And I think I read something, those two grew up together?
Jimmy the Greek and Sammy Davis?
Yeah, they grew up in the same town.
I do not have that on my list.
So Sammy Davis is trying to put money down on him and his team to win the race. And Jimmy the Greek, of course, is handicapping the whole race. We got Jack Elam, plays Dr. Nicholas Van Helsing. Did you notice where Nicholas Van Helsing went to school, Brad?
I did not.
It was the University of Rangoon.
Oh, beyond Rangoon.
Yes.
This guy, at first, he looks so much like, I can't think of that guy, the great character actor, the guy who shoots the cans in The Jerk. He looks so much like that guy at first, but it's not him.
No.
This is a different guy.
And very, unique looking fellow. He almost looks like Igor
Yes,
from
that's what I
Frankenstein
thought
almost.
too, because
I
he
think
had
that's on
like
purpose.
the
Yes.
eyes not pointing in the same direction.
Correct. And he's great too. I mean, he's he's hammered all the time. It seems, whether it's on alcohol or whatever's in the syringe that he is injecting people with.
Yep.
I did enjoy the scene with him and Dino asked if it was good to drink. So Dino's down for just about anything. We mentioned Adrienne Barbeau. She's one of the drivers for the Lambo Countach. Absolutely love that car. I think I either picked it or mentioned it when we did our iconic movie vehicles or show vehicles. I love that Lambo. We got Terry Bradshaw playing Terry. Him and Mel Tillis are two bumbling idiots who they lean heavily into the drinking and driving. I think they had, 3 or 4 cases of beer that they were loading up at the beginning.
And in the second one, you have Joe Theismann is in there. So they keep the tradition of there's another NFL player in here too, by the way. I don't know if they're going to get to that one or not, but you have Joe Klecko of the New York Jets is in this movie.
What is he in the movie?
He's a trucker. I can't. Yeah, but you recognize him, right? You remember Joe Klecko, don't you?
No, I didn't recognize him.
You should. No,
Which
not
team?
Joe Flacco. Joe Klecko played for the Jets. He was part of the New York Sack Exchange with. I'm pretty sure he played with Mark Gastineau back then.
Okay. We mentioned Jackie Chan. He's listed here as Subaru driver number 1. Bert Convy plays Brad. He is the guy trying to win the race on a motorcycle. I didn't really understand the point of his partner. Like, why was it he was dressed in drag just so they don't get pulled over? Is that what it was?
Who knows?
Try not to analyze too much. Of course, we got Jamie Farr.
They were supposed to be like on their honeymoon or something, right? And
that's why he was wearing a wig.
Yeah.
But he was so heavy that they basically did a wheelie all the way across.
So the wheelie, they're on a wheelie the entire way on it because the person on the back is so heavy. I mean, that's pretty stupid.
Right. Yes. Jamie Farr plays the Sheik. We got Peter Fonda has a small role in it towards the end with the biker gang that they get in a fight with. George Firth is our main antagonist, plays AJ Foyt. That was one of the things I thought was really funny is that Farrah Fawcett's character could never remember his name, yet JJ and Victor and the doctor could always remember. Michael, how would you say that? Hugh?
I don't know who that one is. I don't have that down.
He's the other driver along with, he was kind of the computer genius in the Subaru with Jackie Chan.
With Jackie Chan.
Let me see. Who else is of note here?
Peter Fonda, who I didn't even really notice, but Peter Fonda has like a little moment in here, kind of reprising something from, what was it?
Easy Rider.
Cowboy? Easy Rider, that's the one.
Yep. Any big other ones? Tara Buckman, she plays Jill. She's the other sassy looking lady in the Countach.
No, the only one that I had that would have been Joe Klecko. Otherwise, you got everybody I got here.
Well, the real stars of the movie are one. You did mention a few of them, but I actually have listed out the cars for the car lovers out there.
Okay,
so you do have
it's a wide variety of cars that are entered into this thing.
You did have a Lamborghini Countach. You had a Ferrari 308 GTS. That's what Dean and Sammy were driving.
Yep.
An Aston Martin DB5. That's Roger Moore. A Dodge Tradesman ambulance. That's JJ and Victor. Subaru DL Leon. That's Jackie Chan and Michael Hui. It said it had listed stock car, but it was actually a Chevy Chevelle Laguna. They must have used two because Chevy Chevelle Laguna and a Monte Carlo Continuity. That's Terry and Mel. And a Rolls Royce driven by the Sheik.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The real stars of the movie. I like that.
That's correct. I like that. That's a good variety of cool cars that they have in the movie, and I had to mention that.
So one of the big things in this movie, of course, is we've got our main characters, JJ and Victor in the ambulance. Their idea is that if they run their lights the whole time, that they won't get pulled over. But in order to do that, they need a doctor and a patient. So just like you would in the early 80s with all the drinking and driving, you would do some light kidnapping and drugging of a very nice young lady. Like, seriously, you're taking this woman and driving her all the way across America, and she's okay with it. She's,
well, isn't she writing a story or something? So like she's got her purpose for being there,
maybe, or she just likes trees
I mean,
so much.
she's wearing glasses.
She doesn't come across as super bright.
No.
But she's wearing glasses, so therefore that's what you're supposed to think.
Right. Well, let's get into let's do some scenes. Anybody got a favorite scene in this movie?
Well, I already mentioned the plane flying onto the street. I mean, it's just a cool scene. It's ridiculous, but it's well done. I mean, and when you know that like they're not even supposed to be doing it, it's pretty cool. But I got a couple others here. I'll just mention one for now. There's a part where Burt Reynolds is trying to pick up Farrah Fawcett in a bar, and he's kind of stammering. And it was so reminiscent to me of Chevy Chase in Caddyshack or Vacation.
Yeah, I thought the same.
The way he was trying to reach her at the same time period. And so I like that just because it reminded me of Chevy Chase, and that's always good.
Yep. Pete?
I kind of like the setup when they're all, preparing to race and they're punching the time cards and everything. I did have a comment about the time card thing. So the concept is that not everybody is starting at the exact same time. It's like a marathon. So you check in, and then it's based on your total time when you punch in at the very end. But at the end, it comes down to a final foot race between Dom DeLuise and the woman, right? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he at the last second goes to save a dog, and so then he loses to her. But that didn't account for, you're assuming that they started at the exact same time because they're about to finish at the exact same time. But you don't take into account, who started when exactly. So,
and the ladies did start before the guys, so
she would have won anyway. If that's the case, she would have won anyway.
No, she would have won anyway because he would have
won. Oh, he would have won. Yeah, you're right.
So even if he went and saved the dog, he probably still could have went and punched in and still won the.
So they factored that in. That's how long that he took to go save the dog. Okay.
Well, I don't even think he ever did punch in, so we didn't.
We never.
But I did notice that it wouldn't be who got there first necessarily. There would be you'd have to look at the time. So.
Yep. Yeah. One of the scenes I love is I think they were in Missouri, and the exchange between Sammy and Dino and the sheriff. After JJ tells the sheriff that these two are flashers, they're dressed as priests, and so the sheriff, of course, pulls them over. And I just thought that was such a fun little exchange. I love the banner that's in that town for the sheriff. It's for Sean Killicami O'Scanlan, where God, guns, and guts keeps us safe from the hippie nuts. So I thought that was just wonderful.
That campaign slogan would be 100% effective today.
That was the point I was going to make there. Yes, absolutely.
Especially in Missouri.
Maybe not the commie part, we'll see. But yes.
Oh, it would. Keep the commies out.
All right.
Well, the slogan was, he's keeping the commies out, right? That was the exact same
Pete's right.
Context.
The other one that I did like, this was brought up already, but I did like the little shoehorn of Jackie Chan and the karate stuff because, of course, that was, for many U.S. audiences, kind of a big introduction to Jackie Chan and what he was going to bring to us later in his career.
That scene, before that, like earlier in that scene, so Burt reminded me of Chevy Chase, but that scene with the big biker fight and everybody coming together, it reminded me so much of, did it remind you of a different movie from about 20 years ago? A big fight where all these people kept coming in a comedy, a stupid comedy. It reminded me of Anchorman.
Oh, yes, or that got out of hand in a hurry.
Yeah, that escalated quickly.
Yes. Somebody died.
But speaking of Jackie Chan, nobody's mentioned it. I mean, the funniest part of the whole movie, I think, is that he's driving his car and he pops in a porn, an actual VHS
in the green door.
He's got a VHS player in his car, and he puts in a pornographic video.
It almost runs off the road. Oh God! Well, it's a long drive, Brad. You need some help along the way.
That's pretty fun, and I think Jackie Chan doing it makes it even funnier because I don't know you.
Yeah,
I could see Dean Martin doing it, but Jackie Chan is not who you would expect.
Yeah, Dean Martin doesn't need a porno. He makes his own on the spot.
I'm sure we all have the end credits down too. We got to.
Oh, of course.
We love that about this movie, and movies like this. The end credits are always great. So,
yeah. Any other scenes, Pete? You got another one that stood out to you?
No, I think we've covered all the ones that I wanted to hit.
I'd have one other comment about the final scene. Besides it being a little nonsensical, like Pete pointed out, but how about that song at the end? Do you remember the song? It's like a children's choir, and it's like a kid's song, and it is.
I did think that when I was listening. It didn't seem to fit. I remember
it's
thinking
so ridiculously bad, and it's like, what are we doing here? So
was it while they were running at the end?
Yeah, I think it started then, and it went into the credits too. Like I think it was playing while the end credits were going on.
While they're all laughing and celebrating and everything.
Yeah.
It's horrible. If you go back just to check that part out,
I will do so.
It does not fit, and it doesn't help the end of the movie, which you're supposed to feel good, and all this dumb, horrible song is playing.
Yeah. You guys got any lines? I got a few. Lines that I'd like to go over. If you got, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I guess I forgot who said this, but I'm assuming this is from the Burt Reynolds. I don't remember. It might have been Dean Martin, but somebody said he's talking to one of the hot girls. They're very lickable, very likable.
That happened a couple of times.
The Chevy Chase reminder there.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good one.
One line that stood out to me that just seemed ridiculous, but it was funny as hell. Why do you call me Shorty? Because you're small, SM all.
Yeah. I don't get that either.
When he said it, I just started rolling, and I almost texted you guys when I saw that one. The other one, God is our co-pilot. 2 seats. We've only got 2 seats.
Where's he gonna sit?
I have that one down too. Another one, like the one I just said, because he's talking to Farrah Fawcett, and he says, this is a titty turnout, a terrific turnout.
Yes. One of the ones I have here is when they Dino and Sammy are by the ambulance, and because they want to pull over and bless the van.
I think this is the one that I've got.
And they end up opening the side of the van, and Dino sees Beauty and goes, "Oh, I gotta bless her."
Yeah. Oh, I gotta bless her. He's getting dragged away.
Oh my God, just the way he says it, his delivery is just the absolute best. And then right after that, after they Sammy let the air out of their tire, JJ and Victor go, "Those weren't priests, they were mothers." I thought that was a fun little.
I think this is the same, that Missouri guy, I think, that you were talking about, where somebody says, "I think they're armed," and he says, "Damn, I hope so." Another meta line, we talked about Roger Moore. This isn't him, but I love when Burt Reynolds says, "Man, I could really use a black Trans Am." Nah, that's been done.
That's been done.
Referring to Smokey and the Bandit.
I think that was during the plane scene.
Is that where it was?
Right when Dom was getting back in the plane, you could hear the voiceover. That scene with the sheriff after he gets him out of the car, Dino and Sammy, and they're like pounding the top of the car and just being really stupid, and the sheriff is like asking what's he doing, and Dino goes, "He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't think both of his paddles are in the water." I don't know why. It just makes me laugh.
The only other one I have is Dino in the end credits. It's one of the bloopers, and JJ Burt says to him something about his beads, and he refers to them as bleeds, and Dino goes, "These bleeds? You're gonna take these fucking bleeds and stick them up my nose?"
I wrote that one down too. That's a great one.
And of course, they would beep that out. It'd be better with the beep. So Pete can put a beep in over that.
Yep.
Sure.
It'd totally be better.
You're going to take these bleeds and stick them up my nose?
The whole sticking up my nose thing, because it was like, who said that?
They're trying to keep it clean.
Right.
That's kind of the funny thing, too, because usually you'd think they'd be saying something else, probably.
Yeah.
But then he throws the F-bomb in it because it's a blooper anyway.
Yeah, that's what didn't make sense. But
yeah. The last one I have here, it's early on in the movie. It's when JJ first goes over to Beauty. And of course, she had been sitting there with AJ Foyt, who's, against this whole race. And he's talking about how there's all these cannonballers. This whole place is filled with cannonballers for tomorrow. And JJ walks over to her and Beauty goes, "Are you one of the volleyballers?" Just that complete idiot, vapid existence of hers, her volleyballers instead of cannonballers. So that was awesome. So you guys got anything else on this movie as a whole?
I think we covered it pretty well. It was fun.
I didn't laugh as much as I remembered laughing as a kid, but as Pete said, it was still fun. Like I felt like it got better as it went. Like I felt like I kind of settled into what I was watching.
Yes.
So at the end, it's kind of, I could kind of put up with some of the drunkenness and the ridiculousness. And by the end, I was having a good time. And I watched Cannonball run too. So
as you said, it's kind of the opposite of the one we did last week, which was Stripes, where it kind of got worse as the movie went on, because it petered out, and it had this weird section where it just got too long. And it's like, when is this movie going to end? This one kind of accelerated, and it got better and better.
Good word.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Great pick.
Yeah, personally, I like it better than Stripes. I think it ends better than Stripes, and so I'm happy to end the month with it.
Yeah,
well done.
Well, tonight for our draft, in
this is good.
honor of our hero, JJ,
Pete has something he wants to.
I do want to mention this challenge because it's going to segue right into what you're going to say.
Here comes the challenge.
Because no doubt nobody would argue that Burt Reynolds has one of the greatest mustaches, if not the greatest mustache in the history of celebrities, right?
It defines him. You got to have a mustache on him.
My challenge to our listeners is to go on Twitter. If you have or had a great mustache, we want to see you. We want you to post a picture of your mustache, of you with your mustache. If you want to grow a mustache specifically for this, we encourage that as well.
I love that. And I did, you talked about, we should talk about if we've ever grown a mustache and how that went. I did. So I had a goatee forever back when goatees were a thing. But I did grow a mustache about 13 years ago, I think.
I remember that. I remember it.
And I let it go for a while, more than normal, and shaved everything else. And the problem with the mustache with me is I can't have the hair growing over my lip. So like I have a short beard all the time now, but I cannot let the hair grow over my lip. I can't stand it. And so I got to keep it short and I got to trim it up there. So I'll never be able to do a Burt Reynolds or a Tom Selleck mustache. But I thought it was kind of, I thought it was fun there for a while, and who knows? Maybe someday.
You looked like a cop when you had it. I remember thinking that.
It was one of the more, subtle, thinner ones at that time.
It was over the summer, and you came down to Appleskiver Days with it. Our little town celebration in Tyler. I remember seeing you there, and yes, I thought you looked like a cop when you had it.
So I've always had a different variety of facial hair that I've kind of worked on, and that was the one time I went for the mustache. Pete, I think it'd be hard for you with your blonde hair.
That's the thing. I have done a goatee before, and that's the problem. Down here on the chin, it looks okay, but then it just comes in lighter, and now it's a little more gray on the mustache part. So I've never really done just a mustache for sure. Right now, I got a little facial hair going because I haven't shaved in a few days, but it just doesn't work for me, unfortunately. I would love to do it, but it doesn't work.
So
I've done it like for fun, like when I go like this for a few days and then I shave and then I'll just leave the mustache.
Yeah, just at home to look at yourself.
At home, and then I show the family. It's like, hey, this is my new look. What do you think? And everybody hates it. My wife cannot stand when I have any facial hair at all. And she's like, no, you got to get rid of it.
So Gifford famously bleached his hair once in the early 2000s. But have you ever grown a mustache?
It's like Demolition Man style.
Well, for me,
Wesley Snipes.
The vast majority of my masculinity is south of the border. So I have never been able to really, I mean, much like Brad, when I was in college, I had
You really don't have much of facial hair, do you?
No.
I don't think I've ever seen you with facial hair at all. Like even, I don't remember seeing you not having shaved for a few days.
In college, I did. I had a goatee for quite a while, but I could never, particularly the sides of my mouth, it never comes in. Like there's just nothing here. And the mustache just really doesn't come in. It's awful. It's horrible. Courtney hates me with facial hair. It's not a good look. I don't like the itchiness. I tried to grow like the COVID beard like for 3 weeks when COVID hit.
That's where I grew my beard back.
And I've
had a beard ever since COVID.
Yeah. And so I am not able to grow facial hair well.
When you said it just doesn't grow. It just doesn't grow here. It sounded like you were like, over here it's okay, but on this side, nothing. Nothing. If I get hit over here, my part is just not going to look right.
Yes.
The longest I've gone without shaving, and the closest I've come to a full beard was about a year ago right now because I was laid off. And so just like, hey, let's experiment with it because I'm not working or anything. But then if I got interviews, then I would have to shave.
Sure. Did you ever do a thing when you had it growing out where you'd like shave like just the sides and go to like the Fu Manchu or just a goatee?
I've played around with it like that just for my own personal enjoyment, but not for public use. And by the way, Gifford, if your manlyhood is south of the border, we don't want that on Twitter. Just to clarify for our audience,
or
don't
any
put
other
that on
social
Twitter
media either.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need to post that. That's just for home use.
But if you want to experiment, make a little push broom in that area, you go ahead and try that out.
I can give that a shot. So tonight, in honor of our hero JJ, played by Burt Reynolds, Pete came up with the awesome draft for tonight of famous mustaches. So the only rule for this draft is it needs to be a famous mustache. Doesn't matter if it's a real person, a real live character. It can be any mustache that's famous or person that, obviously has a mustache. So tonight we are going to have me picking first, followed by Pete, and then Brad will be our third tonight. So as Pete said, Burt Reynolds, obviously one of the greats of all time with the mustache, but
I know
I'm going Tom Selleck. I'm going Magnum PI. I can't believe that mustache alone didn't have its own spinoff. I mean, that thing is awesome. And yeah, Tom Selleck doesn't look right without a mustache. I love it. So I'm taking Tom Selleck with the number one overall pick.
He was in some episodes of Friends without the mustache.
Yes, he was. He was.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was in it with and without. There's some with and some without.
Yep.
I don't remember. I mean, I remember I remember him being on Friends and loving his role, but I don't remember him shaving.
I think when he came back later.
When he came back and Monica was considering leaving Chandler for him, he didn't have a mustache.
Okay, so not when he was originally on there.
No.
He would have won her over totally if he had the mustache. I guarantee you that.
Right. Yep. It's a big part of the package.
All right.
I didn't know he ever shaved. That's crazy.
Yeah, Blue Bloods, he's not shaved. Some TV show he's on where he's a cop. He doesn't have a mustache a lot.
When he's selling reverse mortgages, he always has it.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
But you're gonna give it to me. I'm gonna take it. I'm going Burt Reynolds.
All right.
Now's where it gets interesting, but I think I know who you're gonna take.
There's so many great ones.
Well, no, I've got like 3 really good ones to go with. So I'm gonna go with one who has a different style of mustache. instead of continuing on with a similar to these two. One of the first people I thought of was Raleigh Fingers.
So the first three names I wrote down were Tom Selleck, Burt Reynolds, and Raleigh Fingers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Raleigh with the old handlebar. I mean, that's dope.
All right. So I think my next pick. He was brought up, or his movie was brought up earlier tonight. That got out of hand in a hurry. I'm going with Mr. Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, I'm very happy with the pick I'm getting in the second round of this thing. And this is going to be a really deep draft, I think. I'm going to take Sam Elliott.
Okay. Yeah. He would have been one of my three that I was looking at right there.
Yep. And just huge, like Fu Manchu, like coming all the way down the sides and kind of curling at the end.
That's the mustache you want to be able to grow right there.
Yep.
Okay, well then I'm going to take, of the three I was looking at, it was Sam Elliott, it was Raleigh Fingers, and I'm taking Ted Lasso.
Nice.
The mustache. I'm reading a book about Ted Lasso right now, and they refer to his mustache, and there's pictures of just the mustache throughout the whole book. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely in my head, but it's it's like a Tom Selleck mustache.
How about Led Tasso? Would you take him?
No way.
All right, I'm going off the board a little bit here. I'm going with one of my favorite Looney Tunes characters. I'm going with Yosemite Sam.
Oh, I didn't even have. I have a different.
That's who I was going to take next.
I was wondering if I could let him go to my third pick, but he was the fourth one that I wrote down.
That's a good one. I have a couple animated characters, but I totally missed out on him.
I say. Right. Oh no, that's.
And I shouldn't have, because that's my thing.
That's your guy.
I still got a good one here. I'm going with Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a great
Wreck.
Park and Rec.
Park and Rec. Bringing it back.
One of the all-time great sitcom characters.
All right. Well, I took Raleigh Fingers first. I'm going to stick in the realm of, quote, sports here.
Oh,
I was never into this like a lot of you other guys were, but he just died, and it is a very, very memorable mustache. So I'm going to take Hulk Hogan.
Great pick, brother. That is a great pick.
I have three very different mustaches here. I want to have a nice variety on my list.
Yep. All right,
you'll get many votes doing that.
Yep,
I will.
And speaking of votes, I've got two white guys. I've got an animated character. I'm going for a wide range in here. I'm going with Cheech from Cheech and Chong. Cheech Marin. That is a pretty sweet full stash.
I didn't have him down either. I'm going with a much different style. This is another guy that just didn't look himself when he didn't have a mustache. One of the greatest musicians in history. I'm going with Freddie Mercury.
Great pick.
Yeah, that's a good one. I got him. He's like the next one on my list here.
Yep.
All right, back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since Gifford took an animated character, and I don't have one yet, unless you call Hulk Hogan one, I'm going to take Snidely Whiplash.
Okay.
Oh.
Similar to Raleigh Fingers, but animated character. So
yes,
it still keeps my diversity of my list going.
All right, so I circled 6 names. I've gotten 4 of them. So now I have to decide between these last 2. And I think I'm going to go with it. Not only animated character, but a toy from our childhood. I'm going Mr. Potato Head.
I like how you say potato head.
Mr. Potato Head.
It's kind of like Goldman on When They're Friends. He's not a gold man.
It's not Phil Spiderman.
It's Phil Spiderman. Potato Head.
All right. I got a lot of choices here.
Yeah, there's too many to pick from for my last pick here. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Tough.
I'm going to go with this one, even though it might be too close to one of the other picks I've already made. But I'm going with Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp in Tombstone.
Nice. Very good. So you got Sam Elliott and Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Both from.
He's got the tombstone vote.
Yep, he certainly does. That is excellent.
Okay. Oh God. So there's just so many good ones here, and I've got some fun ones, and I'm gonna pick one of my this is one of the best mustaches you'll ever see, actually. Not real person, but it's a can that once you pop, you can't stop. I'm taking the Pringles man.
Guy.
Well, he's on my list.
Oh, and that just made me think of, doesn't the Monopoly guy have?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Monopoly is on my list.
So many more.
Yeah. Well, since Brad went last, why doesn't Brad fill us in with what he's got for honorable mentions?
Okay. Well, I really wanted to take Inigo Montoya because I love him. Prepared to Die. Charlie Chaplin, of course, pulled off the Hitler mustache, but with not being Hitler.
So glad you brought that up.
That's an important characteristic of people, not being Hitler.
Yeah, couple similar ones: Albert Einstein and Mark Twain.
Yep.
Ned Flanders. That's a Ron Swanson, but not real. A Prince. Prince has a great little, little thin mustache. Little guy. Eddie Murphy has a nice mustache.
That was a great impersonation of Prince, by the way. There, that was good.
Clark Gable had one of the really thin ones back in the 40s. There, Groucho Marx.
Yep. And
then here's my kind of off the board ones. Well, not all of them, but Frida Kahlo, famous mustache on her.
Yes.
Rebecca Romijn popularized the milk mustache.
Oh. Yeah,
everybody knows that one.
Yep.
All right.
Walter White or Heisenberg, especially like the picture of Heisenberg.
Yep.
You mentioned Kurt Russell. I'll take Daniel Plainview. I drink you a milkshake.
Yes. Yep. And he also had a really nice one in Gangs of New York.
Yeah, he's had more than one.
Bill the Butcher. Yep.
But I love Daniel Plainview. And my last one, kind of the Prince style. I built her a cake or something, I guess. Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite.
Excellent.
Great little mustache on him.
Pete, what do you got?
Right, I'm starting with sports. A great Seinfeld
Shane Mack
cameo. No,
I didn't mention Shane Mack.
I'm Keith Hernandez.
Keith Hernandez. That's a great one.
Goose Gossage, also another sports one. Wilford.
You got Jack Morris on there, Pete?
I don't.
Morris.
We have to mention Jack Morris. I can't.
Jack Morris and Frank Viola could have been another.
Frank Viola.
Well, we had that whole mustache team in like '91 there. They were awesome.
Bernansky, didn't he have a nice stash?
I think so.
Yeah. Wilford Brimley.
Yep.
Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams, and Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back. Borat.
Yep.
Super Mario.
Oh, nice. Think of that. That's a great one.
And my last one is Colonel Mustard.
Okay. See, I have the Colonel from KFC.
Yeah, I thought of him when I was on the Pringles man.
There you go.
But he also has the goatee in there.
That's not really a mustache.
Yeah. So I have got. Well, I mentioned Tom Selleck right off the bat. I'm gonna go Chandler Bing. When he grew a mustache,
he did
for that one episode.
Yes, it was very funny. They're all trying to be like Tom Selleck.
Joey got to have the cigar, and Chandler got to try to grow the mustache.
They had to pick what they got to do. That was so great.
Yes. I got Alex Trebek.
Yes.
Teddy Roosevelt. We got Jules Winfield from Pulp Fiction. Roger Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon. You can't forget about Pat Healy. Something About Mary.
Yes. Good one.
White Goodman from Dodgeball.
I was or Ben Stiller and Happy Gilmore. I was just thinking of.
Oh yeah, that would have been another really good
very
one.
Similar.
Gomez Adams, Randy Marsh, Thorny from Super Troopers, and honestly, you could pick quite a few people from Super Troopers. And then, last but not least, the guy that Brad named his son for, Isaac Washington from The Love Boat.
Oh, Isaac,
that's a good one.
Yes.
Your bartender.
your bartender.
By the way, my son is not named after Isaac Wilde.
No, he's not. Okay,
Gopher?
I know how much you love the show, so I thought.
Well, and it's not bad. I'm just clarifying.
So that was our famous mustaches draft. Please not only post your awesome mustaches, but let us know who we missed. Again, it doesn't have to be a real person. Obviously, Mr. Potato Head,
anything that falls under the
Sam,
mustache category, under any genre of people at all.
The Pringles man, it can be anywhere in there. So
that's right.
Appreciate that very much. So this is our last episode of 1981. Pete, what do we got going on there?
Which means we need to sadly close the yearbook. I say sadly because that was a fun month, guys.
It was fun, but I think as we're closing it, and it's a little sad, we should preview. We've got some really good stuff coming up next month.
Yes.
So we're going to reopen this to some bangers, right?
We certainly are.
Yeah, you could say that.
Well, first of all, we're going to be doing some guest appearances on some shows. That'll be fun. We'll look out for those out there. Yep. But we're going to have Gary Graff on again to talk about 80s music albums. We talked to him about the 90s, and that's going to be our next episode.
Yep.
So that's a lot of fun. And one of our great supporters, we were planning to do an episode with him, but he's not going to be doing it anymore. But we're going to do it in his honor. We're going to be doing Run DMC and the Raising Hell album, which we all grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about Metallica next month because they won our Best American Band poll on the social.
And shout out to our good friend Nick, who also requested Metallica. So that's.
And while we all like Metallica, none of us are experts. So we are enlisting the help of a guy we've mentioned on the show 100 times, our friend Ryan Hummel, who is the biggest Metallica fan in the world, who's going to create a playlist for us to use to talk about, which is going to be awesome. We're just giving back to the fans next month. We're going to do Coming to America because Coming to America finished second in our Best Movie of 1988 poll, but it finished second to Die Hard, which we've already done. Go back and listen to that one. And in our poll of polarizing artists, U2 won, but we have a great episode on U2 and the Joshua Tree. So we're going to do the runner-up there too, which is the Eagles. So, I mean, that when I'm looking at that list of episodes next month, I'm emotionally erect. Pete, what movie is that from?
That's from LA Story.
That's from LA Story. Steve Martin, baby. That is just a great list of episodes. So please, 81 is over, but don't go anywhere. That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
That's right. Hey, Gifford.
Hey, Pete.
What band is always expecting a terrific turnout?
That is Preacher Row with Ryan Hummel as their drummer.
That's right.
Yes.
You got it. Thanks for listening, everybody. That was a hell of a lot of fun.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep.
I'm scared, but there's nothing I can do.